Hey everybody, it is your boy TSD or Trader Solo Dolo here coming at you live for now, probably recorded for you though. This is the inaugural, the maiden, the first episode of what I'm gonna start calling bullish. We're kind of bullish, but we also talk that bullish, if you know what I'm saying. Um, well, kind of a background. The reason I started this, I wanted to kind of bring into the world and hopefully help somebody like struggling with trading or investing, forex, ETFs, bonds, anything like that. I want to help people, right? I want to get it out there. I want to say, hey, I know that you need some help, maybe. And the way I'm thinking about structuring this is, once a week on Sunday, kind of recapping some of the stuff I see. I'm super interested in it. Not to say that I'm a super advanced trader. I'm really not. I'm kind of more newish into the game, but still, I love it. I love doing it. I love talking about it. I love educating people. I love getting educated. Also, I'm a part of an amazing investor community, so I love to take their knowledge and help us out here. So I'm kind of thinking about it doing a Sunday cap of like, hey, these are the stocks I'm trying to watch for the week. These are kind of some catalysts. These are some taking away, your parting takeaways. But also maybe doing a recap on Thursday, saying Thursday, hey, like how is it trending? Is it trending up or down for me? Why do I think my picks were the shit? Why did I think they were shit? And just talk a little bit more of that bullish. And I'm gonna bring some friends along the way. This is kind of just like that test, that jump, to kind of just start testing the waters with it and getting some people, getting some feedback saying, hey, you suck, hey, you don't suck. But really, just want to make some connections that way and hopefully put my voice out there as well. I know me starting out, I'm kind of the just voracious reader. I like to learn. I like to just get in there and do it. And I'm a few thousand pages in on books. One of my books and books and books. One of this one right here. Even things that aren't even straight stock related. This is new ideas from dead economists, right? Super good, like into kind of markets and economics and how people move, because that's what stocks is, right? It's a collection of people trying to look at some indicators up or down, and hopefully I can dive into that a little bit more on the following episodes and maybe some companion stuff later on. But man, let's just jump into it. I want to help. I want to diffuse some information out, to the masses. I'm not a super advanced trader, but hopefully we can kind of take a look, right? So yeah, let's start off with kind of some stocks I'm watching this week. The first one I want to watch, whew, that boy Walmart. So the crazy thing about Walmart is actually they had some earnings earlier last week. Actually, this past week, I think it was on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and actually they had some really, really, really good, interesting earnings that released. Pretty good. I think it was like almost 100% like increase for online sales and things like that. But what I saw were people were actually hating on it because the fucking the CEO or whatever who was presenting it, he didn't go through a lot of stuff. They have Walmart Plus coming down the pipe. They have he kind of alluded to the fact that like stimulus helped out some of the earnings that they were getting, and he wasn't kind of sure showing that kind of picture, painting that kind of narrative to say, hey, this is kind of the stocks, or this is kind of like tailwinds that we're going to carry into the next quarter. So a lot of people were super bearish on that, and I wanted to kind of take a look into the chart and see kind of what happened. You had that kind of run up here. Let's see if we take a look at like 5 days, 15 days. So this was kind of that run up, right? Up until like the earnings call. Can you see that upward pressure going? And I was kind of charting this along the way because I knew that, hey, either one thing is going to happen. It's going to hit that. It's going to peak. It's going to go. Or if not, it's going to kind of bounce out. Hopefully find that support level that's going to bounce to. So I was kind of just watching this guy along the way. Last week he hit a high of 144, but that was really pre-market, and then kind of the bears took over and kind of drove that price down. So I've just kind of been watching it throughout the week and saying, hey, it was kind of going to go down. I've been basically following all the way down, basically every day since the earnings, trading under VWAP, trading under VWAP, trading under VWAP, and kind of VWAP is you can use as a measure intraday to say, hey, if it's bearish or bullish, right? Basically, if it's under this purple VWAP line, it's going straight down. But what we saw on Friday, actually, and interesting because Fridays to me are like for the Bears, so I fucking hate trading on Fridays. But it was an interesting pop. So I'm just drink a little bit. Interesting pop, right? So you kind of see that reversal, or you kind of see that downtrend going down. I was trying to mark here. Ignore my shitty support resistance chart lines, but this I'm just trying to show, hey, like earnings, pretty fucking good earnings. Actually, it was good earnings all around. From they had Target last week, Walmart. Lowe's and Home Depot. All four of them stellar. It's a kind of a tale of two different stories because Target kind of went up and to the right, and then Walmart just went down, right? So I was just watching it, watching it, watching it. I want to wait to see where it bottoms out, right? So when I kind of start to see is on Thursday, even before Friday, you kind of see that double bottom. You see that kind of like W kind of line here, boom, W, bouncing off of that, testing VWAP, doesn't quite get there, runs out of steam before the end of the day, but you do see a little pop. Anytime like power hour, you kind of get the sentiment of the market. But then, man, when I was watching it on Friday, boom, pop off of that support line that it was kind of testing as well. It was testing that support that it hit on Thursday. But now also you kind of see that channel. It didn't quite break out of the channel. I was watching this to see, hey, is it going to break out of this channel? Because you can see maybe like an A, B, D, C, D pattern. A, B, C, hopefully get that D. Ran out of steam, right? But hopefully we see that continuation because you see all this buying pressure. This is basically just trading volumes coming in. You kind of, and this is what excites me is it hits massive trading volume in the last 10, 15 minutes of the day. But also you kind of see some of these indicators, like RSI a little bit, it peaked and it's going down. MACD's it crossed here to kind of bearish territory. It never kind of came back all the way. But when you step out, and this is the interesting to me, and I'll just I'm not gonna I don't want to talk ear, but I'm just saying, hey, this is the things that I'm watching right for the week. If you look at it in terms of like on a day to day basis, going back a year, you don't even have to look a year. You can even do like 180 or whatever. I just want to basically get back a little bit and kind of paint that narrative of like, hey, you hit that spike, the spike and the drawdown is I don't think for me based on like any like negative earnings, it was fucking amazing earnings coming in. But also you kind of see that pattern go down, it hits the support, it's kind of bouncing off of that, and then we kind of see some upward buying pressure based off of that. So hopefully we can kind of see that coming into play, bouncing up, and then like test that 144 again. Hopefully, I'm saying, hey, bounce off a reversal. It's going to hit this support because this is before this pop. It was actually trading at 133 was the area of support and resistance and then support. And then now it's going to be that natural resistance again. So we'll see over the next coming days, over this next couple of weeks, if we see that bounce back up. Because to me, it has all this room to play over here if it can kind of break this previous support and resistance line and use that as support going forward. So we'll see about that. But that's what I'm watching this week. The other one I love to play just because I love my boys Ford. And this is definitely on a downtrend, as you can see. If you bust this out into the 1 year, 1 day, hey, if you look at some of the key indicators like MACD is going down, RSI is kind of going down, cooling off. MACD is still bullish right here. You can kind of see that. Hey, MACD is still fucking selling off, right? You can kind of see this also testing this EMA 50 over here. So it's still definitely in the downward trend, but I think that like once it's kind of bottoms out, and you can kind of see it, like I'll try to paint some like lines here for you so you can to paint that picture. Tested that, tested this low. I basically just like coming in, drawing a little bit of lines to kind of tell me a story. Double bottom bullish right here. Tested this up here, never crossed it, right? Just trying to like get a little bit finer into what I'm looking at. But also the more interesting thing to me is this double test here. So I think the real story to see if it's going to be kind of something to watch over the next couple of days or weeks, couple weeks. So I'm looking at swing trading opportunities here. Is like this right here. If it can kind of because right here it's boom new level, boom jumping up. So what I want to see is if it holds this double bottom. There's 2 points that uses as support, which is super bearish over or bullish overall. See if that holds it there. I was hoping that it was going to use this as another platform to go up. It busted that resistance down, but also there's only 1 point there, so maybe not the best trend in the world. But hopefully we can watch over this next few days. 665 right now. I bought this at 666 originally a couple times. It's actually done really good for me at that point because usually you see a reversal like 6.5. But the interesting thing is once you get this to the lowest that you can off of a reversal, you have all the room to play, man. You got 7.7 if you really want to get froggy and hold this super long. You have all the way up the pre-COVID thing of $9, right? I used to play with this at like about 10. I was watching this like a year ago to see how I was going to react with 10. So I think 4 can be a really interesting one if it kind of dives off a little bit here over the next couple weeks, right? So I think that that's another one to watch. I mean, even if you look at Ford as a super long, you have a lot of room to play. Oh, damn. Super resistance at 10.5 right here. So you see these double, like whatever what the opposite of a W, I guess. So you see a lot, it definitely gets pressure and it bounces off of that. As you can see, it's not a thing that tests and stays. It tests and goes down. It's either going to go down or up. But the thing about Ford, if you look at the shares, it's a fucking huge amount of shares to move it a little bit. massive sell off. It's still generally on the uptrend overall coming out of COVID. So if you really wanted something to like watch and play with for a while, it'll probably be a good one. But definitely kind of if you wanted to even like look at the trend over time, like bam, it's still going up, baby. So there's a lot of room to play there. Maybe not the safest place for your money if you're trying to make money in the next month or something like that. There's probably other better plays, but if you're looking at it for longer, I'm always watching Ford to see what it's going to do. Try to get that value because it's Ford. It's Ford. It's Walmart. They're going to stick around. They're going to be the next one that I got right here is actually from a Barron's mentioned in like a podcast somewhere. It's called Synapsis, and I'm just gonna bring it up right now. I've actually never. Well, I've heard of it before, but haven't looked at the chart yet. But I'm hearing there's a lot of value from this, and that's just like from Barron's mentions. Even just looking at the chart, I just wanted to take a look at it the first time, like on camera, or just talking about it here. Oh, damn, it's trading really. It's it's doing some pretty interesting stuff. I probably should have looked at this before to kind of get some a little bit of color with it. But hey, you can kind of same difference, kind of draw those trend lines. You see it's on a kind of a downward trend. If I'm looking just at the stepping back a year, looking at the day over days for swing trading, there's not a lot of value coming in. So it looks like to me you got that kind of you got those bounces up, it's coming down a little bit. There's been really no volume every day, but the interesting thing though is those volume spikes. So this is actually interesting, even just looking at it over time. I would definitely use this as a means to look at it more, but this is just something that I wanted to bring up because it was in it's called like Market like Daily or something like that. I'll get the exact podcast name, but basically this was a Barron's mention in terms of like the great value to have. There's actually an article, or maybe I'll link it somewhere. But basically, you kind of see that upward trend, but also you do see that double top here at 91 bucks, right ish. So it's kind of testing that, bouncing down. But also, if this holds as like a channel, and you gotta want to dig into this a little bit more, it could bounce off of that eventually. So I think that this, you also, yeah, interesting. You see that uptick in terms of RSI. So RSI, as we know, or maybe we don't know, you kind of want to like if it's closer to this 30 mark, it's oversold, so there could be a possible reversal. You see it if it's 70 or above. Some of them can run hot. You have that selling off here. So what it's doing is and then you kind of use MACD to kind of paint the picture as well. I use a bunch of different indicators. I don't like to use one. Well, price is an indicator. Volume is an indicator. RSI is an indicator. MACD is an indicator. So this is actually looking good just from this point of view. I definitely would want to break it down a little bit more to kind of see, but like it needs to break through this. This is definitely a level of resistance it's had early on. But the interesting thing is that it broke this right here for a little while, even though it cooled off eventually. So hopefully we can see that uptick back here. So this is definitely one that I would watch for a little bit longer. I wonder if there's like earnings or anything coming up for them or any news. Yeah, see, this is the thing that got my attention that Barron's mentioned, right? So it could be dramatic growth. So I would look it up, Synapsis, Barron's, and kind of do the research for yourself. I just wanted to bring that up because it was a pretty good publication that I get a lot of good ideas from that talked about it. So maybe that's something to watch over the next couple weeks. So yeah, that's a good one right there. I think that I'll definitely be watching that. So right now, to kind of surmise those so far, we have Walmart to watch over the next couple weeks. Ford, SNYA is a really good one. Maybe I will stay away from this for right now, but because I like to like learn how it's playing, right? So I'll dig into this a little bit more, and maybe Thursday take another look at it. Right. The other one I just heard about, and this is like for my investment group that I'm a part of. Yeah, and I definitely suggest people getting into investment groups, especially if you're newer like me. But they just kind of help to kind of show where the market's at and stuff like that. But also a lot of good ideas coming from that shit. So if you take a step back, looking at the year, this is something that a bunch of them were playing, and this was something that they kind of mentioned as maybe something to look at next week. They really don't say, "Hey, trade this" or "Don't trade this," like on a swing level like that. But this was just something that someone brought up and said, "Hey, do you trade this?" Yeah, they do. So a guy that I really look up to in terms of like trading and stuff, he was definitely like really big into this. I think he said there was some earnings coming up soon, like next month. So definitely something to watch because trading around earnings is really, really shaky. Sometimes, like I remember, I got bit by Nike. It ended up paying off at the end, but earnings could go one way or the other. It's great that they made money, but did they make enough money? You know what I'm saying? Like when we looked at Walmart, had that great earnings build up, but then they had that huge sell off. So that's just something to think about. So I really don't like trading things in earnings unless I kind of know, but you never know, right? So even just looking at this right now, you see a lot of good stuff day to day, right? So I might take a look at this as a day trade. I'm more of a swing trader, but do like to day trade as well. Just day trading just takes kind of too much time. Swing trading is just something you can do on the side. But even looking at this, man, it's fucking day over day, like increasing, right? Bam, there's a lot of good plays here. I like it. I like looking at this chart and saying, hey, like, man, you see that build up, even if you break it down to the 1 day, 1 minute, man, look at all that. Look at all that room to play here. a lot of patterns you can see just at like the corner of your eye and stuff, like ABC, A, B, maybe yeah, A B, that's C, and the D hit up here. Oh man, this is really good. This is already looking like really fun to play over the next few days, and I think there could be something to watch. Definitely, definitely. I want to take a look back on the 1 year. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Is this only been trading for like less than a year? Yeah, I guess so. It's so I don't even know what this fucking company is. Rocket Companies. I just looked it up right before I got on Rocket Companies. Don't know what they do, but they're making higher highs, and I think that's that if you care about it, then get into it. But if not, hey, it's doing some shit. Definitely, it looks like if this is the IPO date, then it came out, less than a year ago for sure at an $18 IPO range, and from there, oh man, if you look at this, that's interesting. A, B, C, boom, D, and we're actually right at that break, almost of the high of 27.2. So if I'm even looking at this in terms of like uh, at a higher level of a swing trade, I'm not going to get it here. I'm not going to get it here. You see this doji right here that says indecision. Doji's basically is like where you have the body up here is the same size as the body down here with a small little body. Sorry, the wicks are really long. The body's really small. It's an indecision indicator and says people don't know what's going to happen. And you kind of do see that volume's decreasing. Sellers are taking over. MACD's totally turned down, super bearish, and then it's coming down up here as a bullish. So ABC, once it breaks this, it's getting this pressure. So this is actually a really good. This might be a really good one to go long on for a while. Not saying to do it, but I'm just saying like for me, this is the interesting one to watch. Even though I just heard about it maybe like 10, 15 minutes ago, and this is exactly the point where I would want to buy in. If I wasn't buying in on this first break of the channel, whatever that is, it would definitely be like the price point one would be breaking out of this right here. This is also not a bad one once it kind of breaks and keeps over this line because it's trading now, making new higher highs based off of this break here. So I think that's a really good one. It did see areas of resistance up here, but there's a lot of buying pressure also. So I think that's a really cool one. And also, as you see the day charts, pretty good. It's holding, VWAPs and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of cool lines to watch in that one as well. Now let's, so those are just four ones I want to talk about. Like I said, Walmart, Ford, Synaptics. What I guess they make trackpads and stuff. I've heard of them before. I just never looked into them. And Rocket Companies. I think those are four really good ones to watch. Maybe we can go into a little bit deeper for Synaptics or Rockets on Thursday. But let's take a look at the Catalyst Corner. And the Catalyst Corner, as I want to say, is what upcoming has some catalysts. As you need some catalysts to move shit. And the one that I wanted to look at, because I used to work here at one point, is Best Buy. Best Buy. Look at this bad boy. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is it's almost the same narrative as Target, as Walmart, but this is a little bit more interesting because it's actually, as we work from home, as kids are going back to school shopping to me is going to look way different than it did a year ago, right? Because they're not going to buy clothes, they're not going to buy shoes, they're not going to buy pencils and pins as much. They're going to buy laptops, they're going to buy camcorders, they're going to buy microphones and stuff like that. So I think that this upcoming earnings is going to be, and even if you look at it right here, boom, you see that break, right? So taking a look back on Best Buy, if you really, really wanted to paint that picture, hey, before COVID, it was, definitely making some resistance. If you look at the last year at that 92 level, COVID happened, of course, you kind of, with a lot of different stocks, you kind of see that COVID effect of like, boom, the sell off, obviously, right? But look at that super powerful uptrend coming off of that, looking really, really strong coming up. You kind of have that uptrend here. Let me try to make the worst one I can. You kind of have that uptrend market here, and it's just making higher highs, right? Higher highs and higher lows. That's the most important part. If you look at it on the swing level, so it's just building, building, building. My only concern is it's building too much too fast because if you look at the MACD, it's basically topped out. I think it only goes to 100. It's at 86. Anything above 70 is like some of them can run hot. So you see this really coming out and like running a little bit hot. At 77, but generally this isn't like a hot runner. If you look at like something like Nike, that bitch runs hot, hot. It can be like at 88, 90, still making them gains. This one you definitely see a top out around where we are now. Just trying to take another step. Look back 80. This is at. 74. So it's getting pretty close to where you kind of see it cooling off. But only thing I'm like worried about with that one. So I think for this one, the play for me isn't necessarily like, even though I definitely think that Best Buy is going to come in and make amazing gains, even though they were closed for a long time. I remember trying to go to Best Buy and buying stuff, and they were kind of closed and shit. So I think they did their own type of store closures, whereas like I don't even think Walmart ever closed. Some stores that really made really good ones, positive earnings didn't close, like Lowe's and Home Depot. Those just stayed open throughout, and you definitely see that in the numbers in the store to source sales. But this one for Best Buy, I think it's going to be an interesting one. Like I said, the only caveat is really trading hot in terms of RSI. The thing that like that's why I like to use RSI and MACD together, because the MACD doesn't exactly show that picture as well. Like it's not like tailing off. It's not like going down or curving, right? The MACD, you definitely want you want these two lines further away. The further away they are, the stronger the trend is. They're staying pretty close together, which is probably like and definitely even after the RSI is running. So as long as one of these two are kind of showing a good indicator right now, to me it's kind of like they're showing opposite indicators. So to me, like it's really hard to get a read on it. So for me, I don't think that I would actually play this next week because the earnings is on. I looked it up. The earnings is on the 25th. So you see that buildup coming out. And I would think, and if you watch kind of like the Walmart effect, it was doing something really, really similar. And I think you can paint these in a similar category. You see that buildup, buildup, buildup. It's running super hot, and actually see this RSI even never even topped out like they're looking at Best Buy. Again, two different stocks, different story, but you see that buildup, 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 sell off. So I don't know. I think even Best Buy is in a different position, but at the same time, to me it's a similar story. So I would probably wait and hopefully, not hopefully, I hope no stock sells off. But for me to get in, I'd want to see that build up, that sell off, kind of like you see here in Walmart, and then try to get it off with a reversal because I guarantee I'm like 95% sure. 95,000% sure that those earnings are going to be great because everyone's working from home. And I think the next quarters carrying on are going to be really important for them because or going to be really good for them because people are working from home, kids are not going back to school and shit like that. So yeah, party takeaways. I didn't want to make this super long. I kind of want to do this as a test and kind of like see how I am on the camera. I'm really not someone. Even though I think I consider myself an extroverted introvert. Hold on, let me think about that one. Extroverted introvert. Yep, extrovert introvert. So for me, it's definitely hard to talk. But I think that still when it's something, just because it's not easy doesn't mean you don't do it. It just means you have to try a little bit harder, get a little better along the ways. So parting takeaways. Historically August has been a slow trading month. This is something I just got from my investment group that I was on a call with before this. And I think that that was something that I've seen over time, especially for August. And for me, I found myself like making things try to happen when they really probably shouldn't have. And I got myself in a hole sometimes. I definitely am not someone who makes 100%. But at the same time, I think that I try to like each loss that I do, I try to learn from it and what did I do wrong. And I think that August for me has been a month where like I went in too quick or without a very solid trading plan for some things, and I got bit in the ass by it. And I think that and then when they kind of mentioned in the group that like August is a slow trading month, I kind of saw that, and I was like, damn, I don't see a lot of opportunities, and I was making opportunities in my head that maybe when you got down to it weren't the best. So hey, don't force anything. August is slow. Let's get out of this month. Let's look into the fall and early December and kind of see what's happening out there. So yeah, like I said, Sunday and Thursday, a high level plan right now is to just set them up and knock them down. Set it up on Sunday as I keep here. This is what I'm watching. Follow up on Thursday and say, hey, these are the ones that are kind of winning. These are the ones that are kind of not. But also at the same time, uh, think about what else is moving in the market. Like think about what else is kind of coming down. And I think that it can be very helpful for some people. Honestly, it might not be helpful for anybody, but actually doing all this research and shit is helpful for me. So even if it helps nobody, it's helping myself, and hopefully, like one other person finds some value from that. Hopefully, and that's really my plan. If I can help one person pick a stock and they make $1 out of it, man, that's to me that's amazing. And even if I can do all this research and make a little bit more, make stay away from a bad trade, even. By doing my own research, I think that that's going to be helpful as well. So if you want to follow me, man, hopefully I can get some people along the line so we can kind of shoot some ideas off of each other. I have a couple friends who are definitely into like forex and stock trading stuff like that, so maybe getting them on board as well, so we can have more of some rat a tat, instead of me just talking shit for 10, 15 minutes, however long it's been. But you can definitely email me. It's just bullish underscore solo at gmail.com. Again, TSD, Trader Solo Dolo. No real names, all fake names. And I'm a huge Kid Cudi fan. I'm doing a solo right now, so Solo Dolo, right? Also, we have YouTube. Just look bullish. There's like nobody on there for me, so this is the first video I'll try to upload. So we'll see how that goes. You can also follow me. I'm pretty active on Twitter. I just started one. It's real underscore bullish. So that's just real and then underscore bullish, two L's, ISH, right? And yeah, I'll post on there. I'll probably be pretty active on that. Just kind of stock ideas, things I'm seeing, talking shit to people, talking that bullish. You know what I'm saying? We have Twitch, obviously, bullish one, and then stock twits. If you're not on stock twits, get on that for sure, especially if you're into investing and shit like that. There's a lot of shit, a lot of trash, a lot of hate and vitriol, but also you get kind of see sentiment where people are playing at. You do get some little good tidbits. Everything on stock tips with a grain of salt. But at the same time, I definitely think it's been helpful for me and high level, right? Looking at stocks and stuff and kind of getting basically what people are saying. Basically, it's like a Reddit for stocks, and each stock basically has its own page where people just talk shit or whatever. But there's sometimes good information on there, and I just kind of like using it when I'm taking shit. All right, well, I'm gonna say it. Well, I'm gonna finish this really bad alcohol out. Basically, the only thing I have left is vodka and water and ice. And there's two huge storms coming to Texas. So I probably need to go and get supplies and water and stuff. So we'll see you on the other side when this is all done. Hope it helpful. If not, it was helpful to me.